If you want to change the way you think about money and success, this message is for you. Most people focus only on making money, but real wealth comes from creating value for others. When you shift your focus to helping people, solving their problems, and building something useful, success begins to follow naturally. This video will show you how thinking about value instead of money can open doors you never imagined. It will inspire you to take actions that build lasting success and financial freedom. Stay with me, and you'll discover a new way to attract wealth, one that starts with the way you serve the world. Let's get started. Number 1, focus on solving real problems people actually face. If you want wealth to come after you, stop chasing money and start looking at what people around you are struggling with. This is where the game changes. The person who pays close attention to problems, real everyday problems, is the person who builds real success. Because behind every problem is an opportunity. And those who see the opportunity before they see the paycheck are the ones who build something lasting. Think about your own life. Think about how often you run into things that frustrate you. A service that's too slow. A product that doesn't work. A need that nobody's meeting. Now realize something. Everyone else is dealing with things like that too. You're not the only one. That's the key. Real problems are all around us. The question is, are you willing to stop, take notice, and do something about it? You don't have to be a genius to solve problems. You just have to care enough to listen. Really listen. Listen to what people complain about. Listen to what they say they wish existed. Listen when they say, "I hate that I have to do this every week." When someone says, "I wish someone would just fix this," what they're really saying is, there's an open door here for someone to step in. That someone can be you. Wealth comes to those who solve problems, not to those who wish, or wait, or want. If you can take something that people are frustrated with and make it easier, faster, or better, they will thank you with their attention, their trust, and eventually their money. That's the exchange. That's how value works. But here's what happens to most people. They get too focused on making a quick buck. They think, how can I make more money? Instead of how can I make something better? They chase the result instead of mastering the cause. They want the fruit without planting the seed. That's why they never get far. They jump from one thing to another. They get burned out. They feel lost. And the reason is simple. They're not focused on helping. They're focused on earning. And when the focus is only on earning, you lose the power to grow. Start small. Look around you. What is one thing people hate doing? What's one task that eats up their time or drains their energy? Could you find a better way to do it? Could you offer to help them in a way nobody else has thought of yet? That's where you start. You don't need a big company. You don't need a fancy title. You need to pay attention. You need to care enough to do something others ignore. And let's get this clear. Solving problems isn't glamour. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's boring. But if you're willing to put in the work to improve one thing, one process, one experience, one tool, you will earn something more valuable than money. You'll earn trust. You'll earn respect. You'll earn a reputation for being useful. And in the long run, that reputation will carry you farther than any shortcut ever could. I've seen it many times. Someone starts by offering a simple service, a fix for something small. And because they focus on making it truly helpful, word spreads, people talk, referrals happen. One opportunity turns into 5, then 10. Then suddenly they've built a business. Not by chasing income, but by increasing value. Real value always finds a way. That's why you must train yourself to look at the world through the lens of usefulness. Ask yourself every day, who can I help today in a real way? That kind of mindset attracts the right people, the right conversations, and eventually the right results. And if you're wondering, what if I don't know how to solve problems? Then it's time to learn. Learn the tools, study the process, ask questions, Talk to people who are already doing it. If you're not growing, you're falling behind. But the good news is that learning is free. It's always available. And it's the fastest path to becoming more valuable. Remember this: people will gladly pay to have a pain removed. If you can take something hard and make it easier, something complicated and make it simple, something slow and make it fast, you're not just offering help, you're offering hope. And people cling to hope. This is where the emotion comes in. Because behind every problem is a person. And that person is tired. They're stressed. They're worried. If you can help lift that weight off their shoulders, you've done more than solve a problem. You've made their life better. That kind of impact is what builds loyalty. And when people trust you, when they see you care, they come back. They bring others. And that's when success starts to chase you. But it has to start with your intention. Are you looking to take, or are you looking to give? If your only question is what's in it for me, then you've already lost. Flip it around. Ask, what can I give that would actually matter to someone today? That question will never lead you wrong. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start paying attention to pain points. Those little frustrations people deal with every day. Make a list of things you hear people complain about. Then go deeper. Study those problems. Learn everything about them. Become someone who understands the problem better than anyone else. And from there you start building. Keep in mind, value is not about being flashy. It's not about being loud. It's about being right. It's about being helpful. It's about showing up and saying, here's something that works. That kind of consistency creates confidence, and confidence builds relationships. You will feel tired. You will feel unsure. That's part of it. But keep asking the question, how can I help someone today in a way that truly makes their life better? That one question will take you further than 1,000 motivational quotes or business books. People are not looking for perfection. They are looking for someone who cares. If you can be that person, if you can become someone who sees a problem and says, I can help with that, you're already more valuable than most. And when you become more valuable, the world starts noticing. This is how it happens. This is how wealth chases you. Not because you were lucky, but because you made yourself useful. Because you didn't run from responsibility. Because you looked at a hard thing and chose to take it on instead of waiting for someone else. That's real character. That's real leadership. And that's the foundation of real success. Keep doing that day after day and watch what happens. Number 2, offer something useful before expecting anything in return. Most people walk into life expecting rewards before they've earned them. They ask for attention, appreciation, income, or opportunity without giving anyone a reason to care. That's not how success works. You don't stand out by asking. You stand out by offering something that actually matters. Something someone can use. Something they can feel. The first move is always on you. If you're not willing to provide value first, why should anyone stop and listen? We live in a world that's tired of empty promises. People don't want more noise. They want help. They want something they can count on. That's what you should be building. If you want to be seen, if you want to be remembered, start by being useful. Not someday. Today. Right now. Ask yourself, what do I have that could make someone's day a little easier? That question matters more than how can I get ahead. You have skills. You have time. You have knowledge. You've experienced things that could help someone else avoid a mistake or feel less alone. But if you keep that to yourself, it dies there. The moment you decide to offer what you know or what you can do without demanding something back, that's the moment you create real value. And that moment changes everything. In every relationship, business or personal, the law is the same. Give first. It builds trust. It builds respect. People don't forget someone who gave them something when they needed it. A tip, a tool, a clear explanation, a second chance. It sticks with them. And when they succeed, they'll remember who helped them when there was nothing to gain. Stop keeping score. The scoreboard doesn't matter in the beginning. What matters is your willingness to put in effort when nobody is clapping. Can you still show up? Can you still offer something that helps? Can you still do it with quality, even when nobody sees it yet? That's the test. That's where character is built. If you pass that test, rewards start to come. Not because you demanded them, but because you earned them. And don't make the mistake of thinking offering value means doing something big. It doesn't have to be complex or costly. Sometimes it's about listening without interrupting. Sometimes it's sending a helpful link to someone who's struggling. Sometimes it's showing up early, staying late, or double-checking your work. These things don't cost anything, but they separate you from the ones who are just taking up space. People recognize effort. They recognize when you show up with something that matters. And in a world full of distractions, being useful makes you unforgettable. Be the one who shares a better way. Be the one who simplifies what others overcomplicate. Be the one who answers the question before it's asked. That's how you gain influence. That's how you build a name that carries weight. And here's the truth. The ones who give the most are often the ones who grow the fastest. Not because they're lucky, but because people want to work with them, buy from them, learn from them. When you prove you're in it to help, not just to take, you become someone people trust. And trust is more valuable than any sale or promotion. Trust is what keeps doors open when others are being shut out. Make yourself the kind of person others are glad to know. Not because of what you wear, not because of your title, but because of how you make them feel. When you walk into a room, do people feel lifted or ignored? When you speak, do people feel understood or judged? You can change lives by offering something useful. Your time, your perspective, your honest feedback, your calm in a storm. But remember, offering value doesn't work if it's just a strategy. It only works if it's genuine. People can feel the difference. If you're giving just to manipulate, it won't last. If you're giving because you care, they'll notice. That's where your reputation is born. Not from what you say, but from what you consistently do. You don't need a spotlight to make an impact. You just need to serve someone without expecting anything back. That single act sets you apart. And over time, those acts add up. You become someone who can be counted on. And in a world where most are trying to get ahead by stepping over others, you rise by lifting people up. Ask yourself this every day. What can I give that someone else actually needs? Not what looks good on paper. Not what makes you feel superior. What do people need that you can offer with honesty and effort? That's the key. That's how you stop being invisible. When people start saying your name in rooms you've never been in, it won't be because you forced them. It'll be because you gave something valuable before you asked for anything. That's how respect grows. That's how opportunities find you. Never forget, offering value first isn't weakness. It's strength. It means you believe in what you bring to the table. You don't need to demand attention because you earn it by being someone others are better off. For no, that's rare. And anything rare becomes valuable. Even when it feels like nobody's watching. Even when the results are slow. Keep offering what matters. Because while everyone else is waiting to be picked, you're building something real. Keep doing what others avoid. Keep serving when it's not trendy. Keep improving what you offer. The ones who do that are the ones who rise while others fade away. Number 3, build skills that help others improve their lives. Every person has the ability to learn something that can make life better for others. That's not just a good idea. It's a responsibility. If you want to move ahead, if you want to build something solid, start by developing skills that make you useful. Not just to yourself, but to the people around you. The more you can do to improve the lives of others, the more valuable you become. Not because you say you're valuable, but because you prove it through your actions. Skills are not just tools, they're solutions. When you build real skills, you become the answer to someone's problem. You become the reason things move forward. And if you keep building, you keep expanding your ability to make a difference. That's where real power is. Not in titles, not in appearances, in your ability to solve, guide, create, teach, fix, support. Every time you build a skill, you add to your value. Ask yourself, what can I get good at that would help someone else do better? That's the question that matters. That's the question that separates those who stay stuck from those who rise. If all you do is learn things for yourself, it ends there. But if you develop a skill with the intention of helping others live better, think better, work better, you set yourself up for a life of meaning and reward. The people who rise the fastest are not the ones with the loudest voices. They are the ones who have something concrete to offer. They can take a messy situation and bring clarity. They can teach someone something they didn't know. They can take pressure off people who are overwhelmed. That's what skills allow you to do. And the more useful you become, the more people start turning to you. But here's what most people get wrong. They wait. They wait until someone tells them what to learn. They wait for a job, or an emergency, or a crisis. By then, it's too late. The opportunity passes. Instead, be the person who prepares in advance. Be the one who trains while others scroll. Be the one who practices when nobody's watching. That's how you build something that lasts. You don't need to master everything. You just need to get good at something that matters. Maybe it's communication. Maybe it's planning. Maybe it's problem solving. Maybe it's understanding people. Start there. Pick something that can make a difference for others. And work on it like your future depends on it. Because it does. The more you sharpen that skill, the more doors open. People notice when you're good at something that makes their life easier. This isn't about ego. It's about contribution. It's about saying, I want to be better. Not just for me, but because someone out there needs what I can learn. Maybe they don't know your name yet. Maybe they haven't met you yet. But if you build the right skill, your path and their need will eventually cross. And when that moment comes, you'll be ready. Improving your skills is a daily decision. It means sacrificing comfort for growth. It means choosing to read instead of complain. To practice instead of procrastinate. To get feedback instead of defending your mistake. The ones who grow are the ones who are willing to be uncomfortable today, for the sake of being useful tomorrow. And there's something else. When your skills improve, your confidence improves. You stop second guessing. You stop hiding. You step up because you know you have something that works. That confidence shows up in your words, in your energy, in your results. People feel it, and they respond to it. They start to trust you. They start to depend on you. And when people depend on you for something that makes their life better, you become irreplaceable. That's how careers are built. That's how movements start. Not from theory, but from skill. From someone who put in the effort to become useful in a specific way. If you're not where you want to be, ask yourself, what skill am I missing? And then go build it without excuses. Stop blaming and start learning. Stop waiting and start training. This path doesn't come with applause. Most days, nobody will notice your practice. Nobody will thank you for staying late, for reading more, for trying again. But the day will come when you're needed. And when that day comes, your preparation will speak for you. It will open the door before you say a word. And the right people will know you're the one they've been looking for. Choose skills that do more than just earn you a paycheck. Choose skills that empower others, that teach them, that support them. When you give someone a new way to think, or a new tool to use, you don't just help them, you lift them. And people never forget who helped them rise. What you learn today becomes your offer tomorrow. What you practice in private becomes your power in public. If you take that seriously, your life will never stay in the same place for long. You'll keep climbing, not because you begged for a chance, but because you became the person who could deliver when it counted. Your skills are your leverage. They speak louder than your background. They move faster than your connections. They matter more than your excuses. If you want to be respected, sharpen your skill. If you want to be remembered, use it to help someone who's stuck. And if you want to be successful, make it a habit to grow your ability to make other lives better, not just your own. Keep doing that, and everything you're looking for starts coming your way. Number 4, give more value than anyone expects from you. There's something powerful about doing more than what's required. Not just what's asked, but more. More effort, more attention, more care. The people who win over time are the ones who constantly deliver beyond the bare minimum. Not because someone is watching, not because there's a reward waiting, but because they've made it their standard. When you start giving more than expected, you change how people see you. You shift from average to exceptional. Most people just try to meet expectations. They do what's listed in the job, what's outlined in the deal, what's obvious. That's the level where everyone else operates. It's crowded. It's noisy. It's forgettable. But when you go past that, when you bring more than what's required, you instantly stand out. Because people remember effort. They remember when someone made the experience smoother, faster, clearer, more helpful than they imagined. This is not about working yourself to exhaustion. It's about the mindset behind what you do. Are you doing it just to check a box? Or are you doing it to make a real impact? When you approach a task, ask yourself, what would excellence look like here? Not what's enough to pass, but what would genuinely surprise someone in a good way. That's the frame you need. That's how you build a reputation that travels. You don't need permission to exceed expectations. You just need discipline. And it doesn't take much more to create a lasting impression. If someone expects a quick message and you give them a thoughtful solution, they remember that. If they expect silence and you follow up to make sure they're okay, that lands. If they're expecting basic and you show them what exceptional looks like, you change the standard. This kind of thinking builds trust. When people see that you go the extra inch, they start to rely on you in bigger ways. They recommend you. They look for ways to work with you. You stop needing to prove yourself because your work speaks for itself. The quiet excellence of doing more becomes your brand, and that brand becomes your advantage. It works in every area of life. In business, in relationships, in learning, in think. The last time someone gave you more than you expected, more respect, more effort, more clarity, you probably still remember that person. You probably trust them more than others. That's what over-delivering does. It plants you in people's memory as someone who cares. And here's the key. You don't wait until you're successful to do this. You do it now, right where you are. You do it when nobody's looking. You do it when the reward isn't guaranteed. That's when it counts. That's when your discipline is built. The ones who only try when it benefits them don't go far. But the ones who keep showing up and giving a little more than expected, they build something solid. Most people want to get ahead by doing less. They cut corners. They look for hacks. And they wonder why nothing changed. But when you commit to adding value wherever you go, things shift. You start being invited to new rooms. People want you around, not because you demand it, but because your presence improves everything. Start practicing this in small ways. When you're done with a task, take one more look. When someone asks for help, give them more than just an answer. Give them clarity. When you send a message, think of how it will be received. Are you bringing value, or are you just ticking off a box? Every detail counts when you're building a life that matters. And don't confuse giving more with being a pushover. This isn't about letting others take advantage of you. It's about you setting your own personal bar higher. Not for applause, not for attention, for your own growth. Because when you give more, you become more. You expand your thinking. You stretch your ability. You turn every situation into a training ground for excellence. The more you give, the more aware you become. You start seeing things others miss. You notice what needs fixing, what needs improving. You start catching mistakes early. That kind of awareness is rare. It gives you leverage. It gives you foresight. And it earns you respect before you ask for it. People don't always say it, but they feel it when you over-deliver. They may not compliment you every time, but they'll return. They'll ask for you again. They'll trust you with more. And if you keep showing up that way, consistently, the results start piling up. Not just success, but deep fulfillment. The kind that comes from knowing you gave your best. Give more in how you listen. Give more in how you prepare. Give more in how you follow through. Be the one who doesn't just meet expectations, but lifts the whole experience. That energy is rare. And rare always rises. Rare gets noticed. Rare gets talked about. And rare gets rewarded. You don't have to wait for big stages. Start with what's in front of you. Give more than your job description. Give more than your role requires. And do it without needing constant praise. That's the mark of someone who's built for long-term success. When you live that way, you stop chasing opportunities. Opportunities start chasing you. Keep showing people what excellence looks like, and you'll never be overlooked. Number 5. Improve what you do instead of chasing more money. When you spend your time chasing money, you're reacting. You're moving towards something that runs away from people who don't have the discipline to earn it. But when you focus on improving what you do, on refining your work, your skill, your delivery, you're building something real, something money eventually finds. The people who rise in life are not the ones constantly switching directions for the next quick reward. They are the ones who dig deep into what they do and keep getting better at it. You can't shortcut excellence. You can't buy your way to being truly valuable. That only comes through commitment to growth. If you're a teacher, improve how you teach. If you're a designer, sharpen your creative process. If you're in sales, get better at understanding people. Whatever your work is, turn your attention to how it can be better. Not bigger, not faster, not more profitable right away, but better in terms of quality and impact. That's where long-term success starts. Not from speed, but from mastery. If you focus on becoming excellent, rewards follow naturally. People are drawn to quality. They notice when something has been crafted with care. And in a world flooded with people trying to be louder, the one who quietly improves their craft every day will always stand out. You see, money is a result. It's a response to usefulness. If your work gets better, your results eventually reflect it. You don't have to beg for it. But if your energy is always spent running toward more money without asking, how can I be more effective? Then you stay stuck. It's like trying to collect fruit from a tree you never watered. You want the outcome, but you ignored the process. If you can take your current work and improve it by even 10% each month, you will outgrow those who change paths every time something feels slow. They move sideways, you move forward, and that momentum builds something money can't buy. Competence. People trust competence. They look for it. They recommend it. And it always brings opportunities with it. Take a look at where you are right now. Ask yourself, what do I do that could be done better? Not out of guilt, but out of purpose. What steps could be smoother? What habits could be stronger? What knowledge could be deeper? It's that attention to detail that starts changing the direction of your life. Because when you get serious about improvement, you start to notice things others miss. And that's what separates professionals from amateurs. Your real competition is not someone else. It's who you were yesterday. Your job is not to beat someone else to the prize. Your job is to make your work stronger, smarter and more effective than it was last week. That's how you gain real progress. And the people who focus on progress eventually reach levels that people chasing shortcuts will never touch. Money follows those who do things well. If you're consistent, if you care, if you improve, then your work starts speaking for you. You don't need to shout. You don't need to chase. People find out. Word spreads. That's how real momentum is built. Quiet, steady improvement that nobody sees in the beginning, but everyone recognizes in the end. Improvement isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Maybe you're not where you want to be yet, but you can still get better. Every day is a chance to sharpen something. How you communicate, how you deliver results. And the better you get, the less you'll need to beg for attention or struggle for success, because your work will start doing the talking. Think about someone you admire, not because they're rich, but because they're excellent. Maybe they're a great speaker, a powerful coach, a thoughtful leader. What makes them different is not luck. It's years of refining what they do, years of fixing mistakes, years of trying again when it didn't work the first time. That's what improvement looks like. It's quiet, it's steady, and it always pays off. If your work isn't opening doors yet, don't give up. Don't run to something new. Ask how you can make what you do right now better. What could be more clear, more effective, more helpful? When you turn your energy to making your work stronger, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your respect increases, and that respect turns into income. Not because you demanded it, but because you became someone worth it. Most people look outside for more income, more praise, more rewards. But the real secret is looking inside your habits, inside your craft, inside your preparation. That's where the power is. And the more you improve, the more valuable you become. Not just to others, but to yourself. You stop needing approval because you know your effort is real. Keep your focus on building, not chasing. Improve how you handle problems. Improve how you treat people. Improve your systems. Improve your delivery. There's always room to be better than you were. And that improvement, day after day, is what builds a life that success can't ignore. Keep raising your standard, and your results will rise with it. Number 6, become known for doing something extremely well. When people think of excellence, they think of names, not just any names, names attached to something specific. When you hear that name, you immediately associate it with a certain level of quality, precision, or impact. That kind of recognition doesn't come by chance. It comes from deep focus, relentless refinement, and a serious commitment to being great at something others treat casually. If you want success to come find you, become someone people talk about when that one thing is needed. And do it better than anyone else in the room. In any industry, in any line of work, there are those who dabble and those who dominate. Dabblers know a little about everything. They jump from one interest to another. Their work is inconsistent. Their results are average. But the ones who dominate have picked their field and gone all in. They've studied it, practiced it, tested it, failed at it, and come back stronger. And now, when people need results, they go straight to them because they know what they're getting. This is where your focus should be. Not on doing everything, but on becoming excellent at something. Something clear, something useful, something people need. It might be how you lead a team, how you solve a problem, how you speak, how you write, how you analyze or design or teach. But whatever it is, it needs to be done with a standard so high that others notice even when you're not asking for attention. You can't master everything, but you can master something. The person who tries to please everyone usually ends up being forgettable. The one who decides to master one skill deeply ends up becoming the go-to person in that space. That's the value of being known for something. You become someone others can count on. And that kind of trust is the foundation of growth. Excellence demands repetition. It takes time. It takes daily effort. When nobody's clapping, most people quit too soon. They stop just short of becoming excellent. because they get bored, or distracted, or discouraged. But if you can push through that stretch, if you can keep showing up and refining your skill day after day, you reach a point where it becomes second nature. And that's when your work begins to separate from the crowd. When others are cutting corners, you're adding depths. When others are rushing, you're reviewing. When others are settling for average, you're raising your own expectations. Over time, that creates a gap, a visible difference in quality. And that difference is what people start to talk about. That's how reputations are built, by those who chose to go deeper instead of wider. It's not about being the loudest. It's about being the clearest. When people think of your name, they should immediately connect it to something done at a high level. Whether it's service, strategy, execution, or communication, they should know you bring precision and reliability every time. That clarity turns into referrals. It turns into demand, and it turns into opportunities others never see. But you can't get there by accident. You have to decide what you're going to be known for. Then commit to it completely. Study it. Break it down. Build it back up. Ask for feedback. Accept correction. Apply what you learn. This is not about talent. It's about discipline. You become excellent through consistent focus, not random attempts. When you become excellent, you stop needing to explain yourself. People recognize your work. They seek you out, and you gain leverage. Because people know you bring results, not excuses. You no longer have to chase opportunity, because you've built a reputation that draws it in. But that happens only if you're willing to do what most people avoid, going all in on one thing, and doing it extremely well. This applies at every level. If you're just starting out, pick one area and give it everything. If you've been working for years, look at what people already rely on you for, and sharpen it even more. There's always another level. Don't settle for being good when you have the capacity to be excellent. Good is common. Good blends in. Excellent changes the way people see you. Excellence is not about perfection. It's about intention. It's about refusing to give the world your second best. It's about asking yourself daily, is this the highest level I can perform? And when the answer is no, you go back and refine. Not because someone told you to, but because that's who you are now. Someone who doesn't just show up. Someone who shows up prepared, focused, and ready to deliver every single time. And don't worry about being recognized too soon. The recognition always comes, but it follows the work. You don't build a reputation by talking about what you're going to do. You build it by showing up day after day, with results that speak louder than your words. Over time, people can't ignore you, not because you asked for attention, but because your work forced them to notice. Being known for something is about ownership. You take full responsibility for your development. You hold yourself to a higher standard, not because someone else expects it, but because you know what you're capable of. You don't look for shortcuts. You don't wait for praise. You build from the inside out. And eventually the outside world responds. Keep your focus tight. Keep your bar high. Keep showing up with work that leaves people better than you found them. The marketplace always rewards excellence. And when your name becomes known for doing something extremely well, you stop needing to sell yourself. Your results do it for you. Number 7. Make helping others your first goal every day. When you wake up in the morning, your thoughts will try to pull you in many directions. Tasks, deadlines, worries, distractions, they all compete for your focus. But if you decide before anything else that your first mission is to be of help to someone, you reset your entire mindset. You shift from being self-centered to being service-driven. That shift doesn't just change the lives of those around you. It changes you. It sharpens your thinking. It strengthens your purpose. It gives your actions a deeper meaning. Helping others is not about big gestures. It's about being intentional with your presence. It starts with paying attention to people. listening when someone talks, instead of just waiting to respond, noticing when someone is stressed, offering support, even when it's not convenient. If you begin your day asking, "Who can I make life a little easier for today?" you'll start to see opportunities that were invisible before. This approach builds strong connections. People naturally remember who shows up for them, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's not required. Every day you help someone, you build a silent bridge between their life and yours. And those bridges create trust, respect, and long-term opportunity. When people feel seen and valued by you, they're more likely to include you in their future. Whether that means sharing opportunities, offering support in return, or simply keeping your name in their mind when it matters. This mindset also clears confusion about success. A lot of people walk around asking, "How can I get ahead?" But the better question is, "How can I be useful?" That answer leads you in the right direction every time. The more people you genuinely help, the more value you create in the world. And value always returns in some form. It may not be instant, but it's inevitable. You don't need to be wealthy or powerful to help someone. You just need the willingness to do it. Sometimes help is a solution. Sometimes it's encouragement. Sometimes it's simply showing someone they're not alone. But whatever form it takes, it matters, even if they never say thank you. Even if you never see a reward. The act of helping strengthens your character. It trains your heart to stay grounded. And in the long run, that kind of character is what opens the right doors. It's easy to get caught up in your own plans, your own struggles. But when you turn your attention outward, when you ask how someone else is doing and genuinely care about the answer, you grow. You gain perspective. Your problems become more manageable. Because serving others reminds you of what really counts. It teaches you patience. It teaches you compassion. And those qualities make you stronger in every area of your life. Making it your goal to help someone each day also keeps your energy from becoming selfish. Selfish energy gets stuck. It spins in circles. But service-based energy moves. It flows. It lifts others. And in lifting them, it lifts you too. That's how momentum builds. Through small, consistent acts of contribution. Through choosing to care even when nobody's watching. This doesn't mean saying yes to everything. It means being clear about your values and showing up where it matters. Helping doesn't mean being used. It means being intentional about where you invest your effort. Sometimes helping is giving advice. Sometimes it's offering your time. Sometimes it's giving someone a chance to be heard. All of that counts. And all of it adds value. Over time, you develop a reputation. People start to associate your name with kindness, with effort, with support. And when your name stands for something real, it carries weight. You become known not just for what you do, but for how you make people feel. That reputation becomes your advantage. It makes people more willing to work with you, to recommend you, to trust you with opportunities. That's how helping others ends up helping you in return. Start with small acts. They add up. Holding the door for someone. Taking a moment to explain something clearly. Checking in with someone you haven't heard from in a while. Offering a hand on a task, even if you don't have to. These are not huge sacrifices, but they are meaningful. And meaning is what people are hungry for in a world full of shallow exchanges. When you make helping others your first goal, you stop waiting for purpose. You live it. Every action becomes a part of something greater than yourself. That's where real fulfillment starts. Not in what you accumulate, but in what you contribute. That fulfillment creates quiet confidence, a grounded strength. It makes you more resilient, because you know you're making an impact, even in small ways. Helping others also teaches you how to lead. Leadership isn't about being in charge. It's about setting the example. When you help without needing applause, you lead by showing what integrity looks like. And others notice. You don't have to convince them with words. Your actions speak for you. Every day, you have a chance to help someone move forward. That opportunity is always available. And the more you say yes to it, the more aligned you become with the kind of life that success respects. It's not about chasing recognition. It's about earning respect through quiet, consistent service. And that kind of respect lasts much longer than applause. You don't need a title to be important in someone's day. You just need to care enough to take action, to respond when others ignore, to support when others step away, to give effort when others give excuses. That's what makes you stand out. That's what makes people remember you. Make it a habit. When you wake up, before your to-do list starts pulling at you, take a breath and ask, who can I help today? Let that question guide your behavior, your attitude, your choices. It will shape your path. It will shape your relationships. It will shape your legacy. Because people forget what you say, but they never forget how you made them feel. Keep choosing to be that person. Number 8, share what you know without holding anything back. There's something powerful about knowledge when it's shared fully, not partly, not cautiously, but completely. The real value of what you know isn't in keeping it to yourself. It's in what happens when someone else benefits from it. If you've learned something that made your life better, someone else is behind you who needs that same breakthrough. Holding back what you've learned doesn't protect your advantage. It slows down your growth. Because the more you share, the sharper your own understanding becomes. Too many people guard what they've learned, like it's fragile, like if they teach someone else, they'll lose something. But knowledge is not like money. If you give money, your balance goes down. But when you give knowledge, your clarity goes up. Teaching forces you to organize your thoughts, to review your beliefs, to test if you really understand what you claim to know. And through that process, you grow stronger. It takes confidence to share everything you know, especially when you feel like you're still learning yourself. But the truth is, you'll never know everything. And waiting until you feel like an expert only delays the value you could be giving. Someone out there is struggling with something you've already figured out. They're stuck in a place you've already passed through. And what seems obvious to you might be exactly what they need to hear today. When you choose to give knowledge freely, you build something greater than just your own success. You build trust. You create community. You become the kind of person others turn to when they want clarity. And in a world full of noise and surface-level answers, someone who's willing to go deep and be real with what they've learned is rare, and rare stands out. This doesn't mean forcing your ideas on others. It means being willing to speak when someone needs help. It means choosing honesty over impressing people. It means being generous with your journey, the wins and the mistakes. The mistakes especially, because people connect more with your struggles than your highlight. When you share what didn't work, what you wish you knew earlier, you give others a chance to avoid the same setbacks. There's always someone behind you on the path. They haven't read the books yet. They haven't tried the thing you already failed at. They're looking for someone who's just a few steps ahead to show them it's possible. That can be you. Not by being perfect, but by being honest. That honesty builds real influence. People remember who helped them when they were unsure, who gave without keeping score. And here's something most people miss. When you give your knowledge, your value increases, because people start to see you as someone who contributes, someone who solves, someone who explains things clearly. That kind of influence doesn't need marketing. It travels on its own. One person tells another. A door opens, then another. That's how momentum builds. When your focus is on helping, not just holding. The reason some people stay stuck is they're afraid to share, afraid someone will take what they know and run faster with it. But that fear limits your potential, because the truth is, nobody can deliver the knowledge exactly like you. Your voice, your energy, your style, those things can't be copied. When you share your knowledge, you're not giving away power. You're stepping into it. You're proving that what you know is strong enough to stand on its own. And when you hold nothing back, You also learn who's serious. People who receive real value often become long-term allies. They respect you, they trust your insight, and they're more likely to include you in things that matter. Whether it's collaboration, referrals, or new opportunities, the rewards of sharing show up in ways you can't predict, but they always show up. Another benefit of sharing openly is that it keeps you learning. When you teach, you start seeing where your knowledge has gaps. You get questions you hadn't considered. You hear different perspectives. That feedback loop forces you to grow. It keeps you humble. It keeps you sharp. That's the quiet reward of giving, without holding back. You stay in motion, and motion beats stagnation every time. There's also something deeply human about wanting to lift others. When you've been through a challenge and found a solution, there's a responsibility to pass it on. Not because you owe anyone, but because you remember what it felt like to be stuck, to be unsure. And if you can make that path smoother for someone else, why wouldn't you? Your experience is valuable. Your process is valuable. The way you figured things out, step by step, mistake by mistake. That's the stuff that people need. Don't hide it. Don't downplay it. Don't wait until it's polished. Share it now. Share it while it's real. That's when it hits the hardest, when it still has the emotion and the energy of your journey in it. Being someone who shares fully also makes you more grounded. You stop competing. You stop comparing, because you're too busy contributing. And that mindset is powerful. When your focus is on contribution, you don't worry about scarcity. You don't worry about who's getting ahead. You know that what you give comes back. Not always from the same place, but always in some form. Each time you share, you plant seeds. Maybe not all of them grow, but some do. And those that do create a ripple you may never fully see. A small insight you gave might change someone's career. A simple tip might save someone months of frustration. You never know the full impact of what you give, but give it anyway, because it matters. Don't edit yourself down to look smart. Don't filter out the hard parts. Don't pretend it was all smooth. People need your truth, not your highlight reel. Share the process, share the lessons, share the mindset that got you through. Someone needs that exact piece to move forward right now. You have it. Every time you choose to share fully, without holding anything back, you become someone others remember, not just for what you said, but for how you made them feel. Respected, empowered, seen. And that impact doesn't fade. It echoes. It spreads. It builds your name into something that stands for more than success. It stands for service, honesty, and real value. Keep doing that, and you'll never run out of ways to grow. Number 9. Create something people can't live without. Using. If you really want to rise above average, stop thinking about what makes money and start thinking about what makes a difference. The people who build real impact in the world are the ones who create something that becomes necessary to others, something they don't want to go a day without. When you build something that solves a real problem, something that fits into someone's daily life and makes it better, you don't have to beg for attention. You don't need to shout or sell aggressively. People find it, use it, and keep using it because it improves their life. Think about the tools you use every day, the services you trust, the apps you open without even thinking, the routines you follow because they work. Behind every one of those is someone who took the time to understand people's needs, someone who paid attention to what was missing or what was frustrating and said, I can make this easier. I can make this better. That kind of thinking creates real value. It doesn't just compete. It becomes essential. You have that same power, whether it's a product, a process, a message, a skill, or a system. Your job is to design something that people don't just want, but rely on. Something they use because it brings them results, peace, clarity, or progress. But to do that, you have to step out of your own way. Stop building for applause. Start building for usefulness. Start with the user in mind. Not you, them. What frustrates them? What slows them down? What confuses them? What do they wish someone else would fix? If you can answer that with honesty, you're halfway there. The next step is building, not dreaming, not waiting, but building. Even if it's small, even if it's messy, start solving one piece of the puzzle and keep improving it. That's how powerful tools are born. Not overnight, but through steady, intentional creation. Don't focus on being flashy. Focus on being dependable. People return to what works. They stay loyal to what delivers. They spread what helps. If what you've created gives real benefit, people will talk about it. Not because you asked them to, but because it added something meaningful to their life. That's the most honest kind of marketing. Usefulness that speaks for itself. And creating something essential doesn't always mean inventing something new. Sometimes it's taking what already exists and making it easier, smoother, faster, clearer. Sometimes it's packaging knowledge in a way that finally clicks. Sometimes it's turning a chaotic process into a simple step-by-step method. The goal isn't to impress, it's to serve, to take the confusion out of someone's day, to reduce their stress, to bring them closer to their goals with less resistance. If you commit to solving one real problem better than anyone else, you create momentum. You don't have to do everything, just one thing, done with clarity, precision, and care. That one thing can grow into something people can't imagine working without. Because in a world where most people chase attention, the one who quietly builds something that works becomes a magnet. The world starts paying attention when you give them something worth using again and again. Ask yourself, would I use this every day? If the answer is no, then go back and improve it. Keep testing, keep refining, keep asking for feedback. Don't be afraid of criticism. It's how you find the cracks before they turn into failure. The goal is to remove friction, to increase value, and to make sure what you're building holds up under real-life use. Not just in theory, in actual daily routines. Sometimes the most powerful things you build won't look impressive at first. They'll look simple, maybe even obvious. But what makes them powerful is that they work consistently. They don't break. They don't frustrate. They deliver results without drama. And that's what makes people stick with them. That's how you move from being another option to being the only option in their mind. If you're creating something, give it all your attention. Don't rush it just to launch. Don't water it down just to please more people. Build it with depth. Build it with care. Build it to solve something specific in a way that creates relief, speed, or understanding. People remember what makes their life easier, and they don't forget who gave it to them. Get close to the people you want to serve. Talk to them. Listen deeply. Watch how they work. Notice where they pause. Notice where they complain. That's where the opportunity lives. Not in what they say they want, but in what they silently struggle with. Create something that speaks to that struggle and gives them a tool to move forward. And once you create something valuable, don't stop. Keep making it better. Keep adding to it. Keep evolving it based on real you. The moment you stop improving, someone else will start. The moment you get comfortable, you lose the hunger that built your momentum in the first place. The goal is not to build once. It's to keep building, keep adapting, keep serving, so your work never becomes outdated. This approach takes humility. You have to put ego aside and let real needs lead the way. You have to be honest about what's working and what's not. And you have to be willing to rebuild when something falls short. But that's the work that separates people who last from people who flash and disappear. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more solutions, more clarity, more tools that actually help. When you build something that works and you give it fully, without holding back, you rise, you earn your spot, and you create something that lives in people's habits, not just their memory. Keep your eyes on that, because when you become the builder of what people can't live without, you no longer have to chase success. It finds you. Number 10, show up consistently and serve with full effort. Showing up consistently is the single most important factor that separates those who succeed from those who only dream. Talent, luck, and opportunity all matter. But without consistency, they don't get a chance to show their full power. It's the daily decision to put in the work, to show up even when motivation is low, even when progress seems slow, that builds a foundation for real success. When you commit to being present, you create trust, not only with others, but with yourself. Consistency isn't about grand gestures or big wins every day. It's about the small, repeated actions that add up over time. It's about showing up on days when you feel like giving up. It's about following through on promises you made to yourself and to others. That reliability builds a reputation. People start to count on you because they see you don't quit. You don't disappear. You are there, steady and dependable. Serving with full effort means you don't just go through the motions. You don't do the bare minimum. Every time you engage with your work or with people, you bring your best energy and your full attention. It's not about being perfect, but about being fully present. When you serve fully, you show respect for the people you're helping and for the process you're committed to. That respect builds confidence in others and in yourself. Consistency and full effort work together. Showing up without effort is hollow. Effort without showing up is wasted. When combined, they build momentum. Momentum that carries you through challenges. Momentum that grows your skills and deepens your impact. Momentum that makes you someone people trust and seek out. And trust is the currency of long-term success. It's easy to show up when things are exciting and new. The real test is showing up when it's routine, when the results aren't immediate, and when distractions pull you away. That's when your commitment matters most. That's when character is built. When you decide not to quit, you're building a habit. Habits create identity, and identity determines your results. Serving with full effort also means caring about the quality of what you deliver. It's about asking yourself each day, is this my best work? If the answer is no, then find a way to raise your standard. Never settle for average just because you're tired or busy. The people who get remembered don't do things halfway. They give all they have, no matter how small the task seems. When you show up consistently with full effort, you create reliability. Others notice this. Opportunities start to come your way because people know you will not let them down. You become a problem solver, a dependable partner, a leader, and those roles carry weight and open doors that no amount of talent alone can unlock. Serving fully also means understanding that your impact isn't just measured by big moments, but by the sum of small ones. Every conversation, every email, every task is a chance to serve well. The cumulative effect of those moments builds your reputation. It's a quiet power that grows steadily beneath the surface, until one day it becomes impossible to ignore. If you want to build wealth and success that lasts, you must be patient with your effort. You must trust the process of consistent service. Real progress often comes slowly, but the work you put in today might not pay off tomorrow, but it compounds. It builds layers of credibility and expertise. When you keep showing up, even in the face of setbacks, you build a reserve of strength that others don't have. There will be distractions. There will be easier paths. There will be times when skipping a day feels tempting. But those moments define who you become. You don't build greatness by avoiding challenges. You build it by pushing through, by choosing discipline over convenience, by valuing your purpose higher than your comfort. Consistency also keeps your skills sharp. The more regularly you practice your craft, the more natural it becomes. That confidence shows in your work. It shows in your interactions. It shows in your results. The people who reach the highest levels didn't get there by chance. They got there by showing up, day after day, and putting in their full effort each time. When you serve with full effort, You're investing in relationships too. People can tell when you're fully engaged. They feel your commitment. And that builds connection. Connection builds loyalty. Loyalty builds a network that supports you when you need it most. That network becomes a source of opportunities, ideas, and encouragement that fuels your continued growth. Remember, success is not a sprint. It's a marathon made up of thousands of consistent steps. Each step counts. Each act of service counts. Each moment you bring your best counts. Over time, those moments become the story of your life. A story of someone who didn't just wish for success, but worked for it. Someone who didn't just dream, but showed up. Someone who didn't just want more, but gave more. Consistency with full effort creates momentum, trust, and results that last. It makes you a person others want to follow, and a professional others want to work with. It turns your goals from hopes into reality. And it does this quietly, steadily, without shortcuts or gimmicks. Only through the power of showing up and giving your best every single day.